Howdy, hi, and hello. Welcome back to my humble abode. Welcome back to Noah's Nest, a short series where me, Noah, will be taking you on a short-esque journey of going through the basics and the understandings of maybe D&D. I don't know. All in all, this series is pretty much you sitting down in a very comfy corner, in a very comfy couch, on a very Lovesack-esque thing, getting all comfy, and just hearing the sound of my voice and my fireplace that I will put in right now. Today, I will go over the first class. Not Artificer, I will do that later, but I will go off of the very first class that was added to 5e, which is the Barbarian. Barbarians are always the big, tough, strong guys, the dum-dums, the ones that can take a hit but bitch slap you into the ground. They are the strongest, in my opinion, just melee based. They can take a hit. I don't know what else you want to say about the Barbarian. They can take a hit, they can hit back harder, and just, all in all, be one of the last people to stay alive. Let's go through the different levels. So Barbarian has a D12, which is the highest dice that you can use for hit points. Their first ability that they get is Rage, where you can use your bonus action to pretty much tank hits better, I would say. Once you're in this stage as a bonus action, you gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, which is already great to start out with. Reduces damage. Perfect. You get to add your strength modifier to the damage roll, along with gaining advantage on the strength checks and saving throws. Lasts for a minute. Just don't go unconscious, and make sure you attack or take damage for it to keep going. You also gain unarmored defense when you start out with this class, which is, you start out, your armor is 10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your constitution. The good thing about it is that you can also gain your shield bonus to it. So most of the time, you will already have 17 or 18 hit points, depending on if you max out constitution and whatnot. It's very nice to start out as. Second level, you get Reckless Attack and Danger Sense, where Reckless Attack is pretty much, you will go into a short frenzy to gain advantage to this certain attack, but the person that you're attacking will gain advantage on their turn to attack. Danger Sense, pretty much you get the dexterity saving throw to see traps or spells being launched at you. You're dodging out of the way. You can somehow sense everything around you. You're just able to dodge out of the way as long as you aren't blind and deafened or incapacitated or dead. At third level, you get to finally choose your primal path, which I will go into each of the paths later. Your ability score improvements, +2 to 1 ability score, or 1 point to 2 other scores. Or you can say fuck that and choose a feat at some point. You get one at 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level. 5th, this is where it starts to get really good. At the beginning of 5th, you get an extra attack, which means that you can attack twice as long as you take your attack action. So instead of just swinging your axe once, say fuck that, I'm doing it twice, and swing twice. Along with 5th level, your speed increases by 10 feet as long as you aren't wearing heavy armor. And since you're a barbarian, you're not going to really wear heavy armor because you're going to have thick skin. It's not going to matter at that point. I'm going to skip a level at the moment and do Feral Instinct at 7th. You have advantage on your initiative rolls, along with if you are surprised at the beginning of combat and aren't incapacitated, you can act first normally, but only if you enter your rage before anything else. Pretty much, you just have advantage, and if you go first, good. If you're surprised and you are going into a rage, you still get to go, which is great. At 9th level, you get Brutal Critical, which means you get to roll an additional die of that weapon damage if you get a critical hit with a melee weapon. And that increases at 13th and 17th level. At 11th, you get Relentless Rage. If you drop to 0 hit points while raging, you don't die. You make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, you get 1, you drop to 1, which is great. You can't fucking die if you keep making your Constitution saves. But each time after the first, the DC will increase by 5. But once you take a short or long rest, it'll reset back down to 10. So if you're able to get 20s fairly consistently, you can do this a couple times and still be fine. At 15th level, we got Persistent Rage. Your rage is so fierce that it can only end if you fall unconscious or if you choose to end it, which is great because now you won't have to constantly keep getting hit or constantly keep hitting someone, which you usually already going to get hit or hit someone, so you won't have to focus on that. But even if you got hit by an arrow and you have to run, let's say 200 feet away, it won't go down because you're not gonna have to focus on that anymore. Let's go to 18th level, where it's an Indomitable Might. It says if your total of a strength check is less than your strength score, which usually in most classes is going to be 20 at this point, but you don't have to focus on where your stats go. If you want to have an intelligence-based barbarian, fucking do it. I love doing different things for different classes. I had a orc cleric that was like a shaman-based character, which was mainly unheard of because orcs in the quote-unquote lore, I don't follow lore, I don't care for lore, but it says they barely have any clerics, and if there are clerics, it's mainly going to be druids as shamans. So pretty much, if you roll less than a 20 or an 18 or a 16 or blah blah blah, it'll become that, which is beautiful. And lastly, at level 20, you get Primal Champion. Your strength and constitution increase by 4. Pretty much, if your strength and constitution are already maxed out, they can go up to 24 and be even more deadly. There are these optional class features at the moment, where at 3rd level, Primal Knowledge, once you reach 3rd and at 10th, you gain proficiency in one of the skills from the list of the Barbarian at the 1st level. It's nice. You're able to get an extra 2 skills throughout the whole campaign, which is nice. It's more role-playing-esque in my opinion. It doesn't have to be, but that's what I'm thinking. Next, at 7th level, Instinctive Pounce. Once you use your bonus action as a rage, you can move half your speed. At 7th level, you're most likely already moving 40, maybe 50 feet. So you can move 20, 25, just depending how fast you are, half of it. It's nice. Now, I'll go through the paths. I'm not going to bore you with the different abilities. I will just give you a quick synopsis of it and maybe something that you can get while doing it. First one is Ancient Guardian. Ancestral Guardian. It's pretty much you going back through your culture to see the different warriors from your past. You might see spirits of some sort. You follow that through your guardians, through your pretty much ancestors' aid, where you're able to pretty much summon a guardian to block some damage, or to call upon your spirits to deal more damage, or look through your spirits, look through your ancestors to actually see what they could see in some way. Next is Battle Rager. This is mainly for dwarves only, but I don't care. I would not focus on the races. I know it says it's a dwarven society and niche, whatever. I don't care. It even says to lift the restrictions. But they're able to gain more armor if they want, buffier, able to kind of take more hits, can gain temporary hit points, can run faster. You're able to take a bit more and gain a bit more health. Next is the Beast, where it draws the soul's rage from different animals like mammoths or saber-toothed tigers or wolves, and pretty much packs that into a more physical form of rage, where you're able to morph, quote-unquote transform your body to have different types of powers. I would say natural weapons, that it says here. So you could turn your mouth into like a whole entire maw or mandibles. You could gain massive claws of some sort, or just have a gigantic tail. But you're also able to gain their type of abilities like climbing or swimming or sorts. And you could also gain some more damage or make people fight other people, which is beautiful. Next is the Berserker, where pretty much you are putting rage into a rage blender, rage it up, and now you have a rage smoothie. You are battle heavy. You want to kill, you want to see blood, you want to see heads roll. Where some things that you can do is gain more attacks. You can be harder to charm or gain influence to other things. You can cause people to be fucking scared of you, which makes sense, or just do more damage. Next is the Storm's Herald, where you call upon the weathery sky. You bring on storms. It grants you strength, speed. It is calling upon the magic of the sky, where you're able to gain different auras to deal different things, like maybe fire damage or lightning, or gain temporary hit points. Moreover, like being able to breathe underwater, or not be able to, or be able to endure extreme effects, make different types of shields that are elemental based and gain resistance and of the sorts. Next is the Totem Warrior, which is calling upon the actual land spirit animals, the protectors, like a bear, wolf, kind of the different spirits throughout nature. This goes on by you can take even less damage. You can be able to move faster, easier times attacking people, or you can gain advantage on different perception checks, or push stuff, carry stuff more, gain more skills. You'll also be able to speak with beasts and nature, along with you could gain like a flight speed, do more damage, knock people prone, more of the sort. Next is the Zealot, where these are barbarians that take in their own rage and power and burst out divine power. Pretty much following a god and then packing a punch with their divine godness or of the sort. I don't really know. Where you can gain more damage that can be necrotic or radiant depending on the god that you have. You'll be able to come back to life without needing material components. You can reroll saves depending on if you fail one. You can give people advantage, and even if you go unconscious, you could still keep going and stay in the fight without actually dying. Last is wild magic. This is pretty much the sorcerer's wild magic, where you are taking in supernatural powers, different forces and influences of these different beings, and it makes your body as you rage change. Or it could also give you different things. So while you rage, you might end up teleporting, you could end up creating flowers around you. These can also all change depending on what your DM likes. You're also able to boost up your companions. You can let them regain spell slots. You can let them add a die roll to their attack or ability check. You could also make a wild magic effect happen if you take damage, or make you roll twice and choose which of the two wild magic tables that you can get. That's all of the Barbarian. Overall, in my opinion, I think this is a great class for beginners that don't fully understand D&D to begin with. This class is pretty much barely get hit, and if you do, barely take any damage. You don't have to focus on being smart or being charismatic. If you want to focus on those, you can easily play those in this. You do not have to follow every single niche, I would say, where all of the barbarians have to have high charisma, high strength, high dexterity, and low intelligence. No, you don't have to follow that. You can create your own barbarian. It's very, very easy. You don't have to worry about spells. It's just hit hard, tank damage, and fuck up everyone that you are attacking. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got for this episode. So, thank you all for listening. I hope you all enjoyed this. I do have 2 shout-outs. One of them is Killer Mimic merch. Cody is doing his thing with creating his own art designs and printing them on their beautiful t-shirts. You can check him out at Killer Mimic Merch pretty much everywhere. He has his own website. You can buy his stuff there. Our other shout out is Hope K Thrifts. She resells secondhand clothing that focus on sustaining the environment in cheap and fashionable ways, where all of the different clothes and shoes that she gets are the trendy brands like Lululemon, Nike, Free People, Converse, and so much more. And here's the kicker. All the items that she sells are either $20 or less. So you are getting a massive steal on this. You can find her everywhere at Hope K Thrifts, like Instagram, Poshmark, Depop, Macari, and a couple other places. If you find yourself there, send her a message with the code CHEAPTHRIFTS, where you could get 10% off of your next purchase. Next purchase. So you're gonna get even less for more. Think of like the big time rush. Buy more for less for more. Hey. Thank you all for listening. If you want to check us out, it's at Creatures and Cantrips, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that beautifulness. Thank you. Good night. Sleep tight. Let all the bed bugs bite your neighbor. I don't know.